want to take a little time out to just talk a little bit about my 2024 Ninja 500 SE KRT. So as you can see, this is the KRT version, and you can see that the frame slide is right there. You cannot see the radiator. It comes with the radiator, LED lights. You see the tank pads that are right there, slipper clutch, assist clutch that you can see on the side has the what do you call this? The adapter or the power USB cord. I have a quad lock on it. That's pretty much the only mod that I have, if you consider it a mod. The TFT has a larger windscreen here, so the air actually pushes above your head into the sides. LED lights, and those that don't know about the 24 Ninja SE. So yeah. So anyway, I wanted to just take a quick time to talk about my experience as a new writer. I basically started writing July. I took my MSSF course, and I started on the Z125, and that was my first experience, me writing it and driving a motorcycle in my life. So that was pretty good, and fortunately for me, I passed that on a Sunday, and Monday, that next Monday morning, I was able to get my endorsement, so it worked out really good for me. The trick was, if you live in Texas, is that you have to stay up late, and then you go to the DPS website, and after like 12 o'clock, between 12 and 7, open slots came, and I had to drive a little bit, maybe 45 minutes, but nevertheless, I was able to get it done and get that endorsement. So my first experience outside of the MSF was the parking lot. There was a huge transition for me as a new writer. I started on the Z125. And so this is the 500, which is 451 cc's, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure. I'm not a tech person, but anyway, that being said, I had my first whiskey throttle moment like immediately after that, because I was still not used to the throttle. And you know, the amount of power and the torque is a huge difference for me as a new rider. So that happened a couple times, but fortunately for me, I was taught to like hold your clutch in, because that restricts all power to your rear wheel, and then brakes. So it worked out pretty good for me, God willing. So yeah, and I stayed in the parking lot for a little bit. I would say I was in the parking lot for a month, stop, start, swerving. And of course I would venture out into the neighborhood, not doing more than 20 miles per hour, because 20 miles per hour was a lot for me when I first started. And I have no shame in my game in saying that. And then I started going to the gas station, which is like 3 blocks down the road, and riding back. And then eventually after that, I did a little group ride, small group ride, 4 people. All have been riding longer than me. And we went to the lake, about 35-minute ride. During that 35-minute ride, I had a couple issues. The whiskey throttle was one, but my clutch, at least in my opinion, and when people got on, it's like, oh, it's all right. I couldn't get the gear shifting. And maybe because it was a new bike and still working out the kinks and everything, so that was the only issues. But every time that did happen, one rider would stay to the right of me and behind me, and just like kind of guide traffic, and we pull off to the side of the road, get me situated again, and then off we go. So that was my first experience with riding. Continued to do that, and then developed more skill, or more comfort rather, and then did other rides to Eagle Mountain. I can't say the lake, but it's the hiking area, rode there, and so that was pretty good. Then started getting a little faster, 35, 45, 50 miles per hour. Eventually I got up to FM roads, and then my highway practice started on Highway 170 here during the evenings when there's no cars on it whatsoever, and like the service road. Then I started going out there doing 60, 65 miles per hour, getting accustomed to them. The thing that I always thought about on the highway for me in the beginning was the wind, one, and the speed, and the fear, the fear of going faster and being able to stop, and then keeping your eyes on the road instead of constantly looking down to see what gear you're in. So that was like my big things. And then I found that on the highway, obviously, it's not that there's less responsibility or less comfort or more comfort. It's just that since you're going at constant speed, you're just more concerned with the cars around you and getting used to that. Whereas on the street, you're stopping, starting, looking at intersections, checking your lane position, and you do the same thing on the highway. but it's just a little bit different. I know some people think that the highway is easier than the middle of the street. I'm not going to say that either one is easier. It's just that, there are different things and different hazards that you got to be aware of. Keeping your space and your distance is very, very important when you're in the street, as a daily rider, as well as on the highway. So that's how I kind of did that. And yeah, so my riding experience has been good as a new rider. I'm glad that I started on the 500. I was trying to get a 400. I probably could maybe have gotten a little bigger bike. I'm not sure about that, but I'm glad that I started exactly where I am. My next bike, because that's a question that people ask me, would be the ZX4 RR or the R, but more than likely it would be the ZX4 RR. One that has the two power modes, and it's the same bike. I like this color combination because it does pop. So my experience with that is really good. So keeps you visible, which is really important to me as a new rider. So it has a slipper clutch, and it also has what's the thing that the shiftless clutch, whatever. Gosh, my brain went blank when you do that. So gosh, not the slipper clutch, but the other clutch, not the GP, but it'll come back to me in a minute. So that's important to me, and it's the same, pretty much the same bike, the same seating posture, and that's really big for me because as a new rider, I didn't want that full-on sport look or comfort, and I can kind of show you. So as I throw my leg over it, I'm 5'10", so you can see I'm flat-footing this bad boy pretty easily, and I can kind of like rest, put it in neutral, no problems whatsoever. And so this is pretty much the way the ZX4RR rides. And then you see I get right here, I'm not really leaned over. And this is pretty much how I ride. I keep my elbows a little limp, like it depends if I'm turning this way, if I'm turning that way. So this is how I ride. And if I'm on the highway, as you can see the windscreen, it really pushes the air above me. And basically it only hits me right here, if it does hit me. This is really windy out. So I'm gonna take a leg back from over there. So I like the CFD display. I think that it's very simple. And yeah, so that's my experience in riding. I would say that this is a really good bike for beginners because it's not really heavy. Obviously, the slipper clutch helps out a lot. I think it's very functional. You're not bent over, so your back doesn't hurt. You can ride this for hours and no problem. For me, as I'm a mature, older rider, I can ride it for hours all day, no problem. I like the gas mileage, so that's really, really good. Tank size is good. I like the fact that in this one, you have the tank pads, and you kind of squeeze your legs up there. One of the things that I found out after riding for a little bit, because nobody told me, was that you can move your bike to the left or the right with the inside of your thighs, because I was kind of still doing this to swerve, but you can do either way. So that was really good to learn. It's very nimble. It's very, I'm not gonna say it's fast like an R7 or R6 or anything like that, but I can still get up to 120, 130, so it's really good for highway speeds. No problem whatsoever. You can, drop down the gears, they say, from 5th gear to 6th gear, no problem. Going through the gears is easy. Has positive neutral finder, so getting into neutral from 1st gear, no problem. You hit every time. You're never gonna miss it. Sometimes you'll be in 2nd gear going down to 1st gear and you'll actually slide into neutral, which is good when you come into a rolling stop at a light or something like that, so that's good. So that's a question that they asked me as well, what will be our next bike? And that's the #1 reason will be the riding posture, the familiarity with the brand, the same display, the fact that it's not gonna be overpowering, so it's like a mid-step, and somebody's texting me. So it'd be like a mid-step, so I'm not going straight into like a ZX6, which I don't really have a need. You can't really use that bike on the street, and I don't ride like that. I'm a real chill rider, laid back rider. So that's my next bike. The other thing is like people ask me about what I wear. So I'm not geared up right now, but if I were, I have a leather vest that has back protection and I have several helmets because some people chose to go and get a $1,000 helmet. I didn't choose that route. I chose the route of quality and quantity. So I have a Scorpion EXO 320 and a Scorpion EXO 250, and that has the EXO communication. And then my other helmets are LS2, and I have Carlos on those. The Carlo HD because I don't ride with a lot of people. So when I ride, I can just call people, and we can all be on like a 3-way call, and we can listen. And you can listen to your music, you can listen to your map. Which when you're calling, you can't do that. But if you're on comms, like just 1 or 2 people, you can listen to your music at the same time. I'm pretty sure everybody knows about that. So that was my route. So I wear dry fit, and this is exactly what this is. So especially in the summertime, because I jet ski, I found that by wearing this, when you start sweating, it gets wet, and then as you're riding, you know, you're constantly cool because it keeps you cool. So I wear this as well as a ski mask. So that's a question that people ask me when they see the videos. What do I wear? So I also wear knee armor pads when I'm not wearing riding pants. I have Reacts riding pants or Reacts, whatever, that have pads within them. But most of the time I'm wearing just either ripcord pants or some pants that I ordered from Amazon. And I wear the Kayoko armored knee pad. You can get that on Amazon. And that comes with the elbow, so it's a combo deal for 70, red, white, and black. And you just mix it up with whatever you're wearing, you know, however you feel comfortable. So there's that. I think another question, those are 2 questions they asked me, what would I ride? The other question, I guess, is do I do group rides? And the answer is no. I'm not ready to do that. I really don't have a desire to be in larger groups of maybe 10. That's about as high as I've ridden, the quantity of people. One is I like to ride with people that care about you. And I'm not saying people that don't care about you in large groups. I'm in a beginners group here in Texas. What I'm saying is that there's familiarity of riding with people that you know. You get comfortable, you know how to ride together. I've been in a ride with people that if you're in one lane, they come flying by, they don't tell you, you don't see them. And that's a recipe for disaster. Fortunately, I haven't been with people that have been doing crazy things on the highway. There was a fast ride that when we pulled over, it was like, what were we doing? Because I need my license. I work. So there's that. Yeah, so that's the reason why I really don't ride in larger groups. I can go to the meet and hang out and see people, but I know I have to like exit stage right. This isn't for me, and I think that everybody has to ride their own ride and be within their comfort zone. So as a new rider, I definitely recommend that if you're not comfortable riding with people, or you know, don't be afraid to be like, hey, I'm good. I'm good. I'm just gonna pull off to the side, and there's no harm in that. So that's the other question that I ride that I get asked about riding. The other one is that I live here in Texas, so I'm a new Texan. I've only been a couple of years. So when you see my videos, it's going to be some part of Dallas-Fort Worth area as of right now. I haven't got a chance to ride the bike in Oklahoma or Arkansas or anything like that. So yeah, and my bike, I've had it for a few months. So I have 2,600 miles on it. I've got my first maintenance. I do know how to clean my chain. I did it myself. I'm not saying I was perfect, but I did it. So anybody can do that and learn how to do like the small maintenances that you have. So I like my little setup. So right here I have, I forgot the brand here of a mount. So I mount my Instagram. I mount my Insta360 to there, and I also wear a GoPro Hero 10 camera with the medium mod, and I use the purple Panda mic in my helmet, and I plug it straight into my media mod. So that gives me my sound and my audio. That's all I do. And I also use a newer mic. The newer mic I like to use if I'm just going 40, 50 miles an hour. But you can do, it's not the same quality as the Purple Panda, but it's just as good. Make sure it's all the way plugged in so you don't get that static feedback. It's a little bit more sensitive, whereas the Purple Panda is sensitive, but it's a high quality mic. So if you're gonna choose between both of those, and they're both offered on Amazon. So I like both of those mics. I do have, but my the stick for your Insta360. So I don't put it here. I like to mount it here. I haven't mounted anything here, but I have a GoPro Hero 4 as well. So I was using that first, and then I got the GoPro Hero 10. So when people ask about my camera, how do I film my rides? That's how I do it. I keep saying it. Insta360 times 3 X3 and GoPro Hero 10 are the cameras that I use, and obviously the newer and Purple Panda mic is what I use. And I ride with Ceviche gloves and Ceviche boots. Those are my two, and I have a pair of tactical boots that I ride with a lot because they're comfortable, they're tall, they go up like almost mid-calf, so I like them. So those, that's what other things that people ask. And then the last thing, I guess, is a very simple thing. It's like, how long have I been riding? Well, I started riding basically the last week of June, the last few days. That's my first experience whatsoever. And then to now, so this is November. hopefully I get a chance to ride it in another country when I go on vacation. And so my experience with the Ninja 500 SE has been really good. I highly recommend it for a first bike for anybody. As a beginner, I'm not somebody that's been riding for years, but as a beginner, I would say the ease of use. It's very lightweight, maneuverable. It's nimble. Doesn't overwhelm you with power, except in the beginning, like me, who had never ridden a bike, so had to get used to that. And yeah, you gradually get used to it. I like this model version because obviously it came with the frame sliders, which is important. So you have that to protect your bike. But overall, it's been a really good experience, and I hope that my experience will help anybody else out there. And that's all I have for you. So that's it. And yeah.